What if I told you that Apostle Paul, the once zealous persecutor of Christians, who turned into one of the greatest champions of the faith, was born in a city that now lies in a predominantly Muslim nation, Turkey? Yes, Paul, whose conversion and missionary journeys shaped much of the New Testament, was from Tarsus, a city in what is now southern Turkey. But what's even more fascinating is that this very land, modern Turkey, holds a key place in biblical prophecy. It's a nation with deep spiritual roots, mentioned in the Bible as far back as the Table of Nations in Genesis, and potentially plays a central role in the future during the War of Gog and Magog. Welcome back to Deep Bible Studies, where we explore how ancient prophecies and historical events align with our world today. Today, we dive into the history of Turkey from its biblical origins through its prophetic future. Don't forget to share this video if you enjoy this deep dive. Let's journey together as we uncover the hidden biblical truths about the land of Turkey. Section 1. Turkey's origin in the Bible. Tracing back to the Table of Nations. Turkey's biblical roots can be traced back to the Table of Nations in Genesis 10, where the descendants of Noah after the flood are listed. This chapter gives us a map of how nations were formed from Noah's sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and the regions they came to inhabit. According to the Table of Nations, the people who settled in what we now know as Turkey are descendants of Japheth, the eldest son of Noah. Specifically, Gomer and Togarmah, two of Japheth's descendants, are often linked to Anatolia, modern-day Turkey. Gomer is mentioned as the forefather of various nations in Asia Minor, Turkey, while Togarmah, believed to be one of Gomer's sons, is thought to have settled in the northern regions of Turkey. These names come up again in Ezekiel 38:6, where they are prophesied to be part of the alliance of nations that will invade Israel in the war of Gog and Magog. The name Magog, also associated with Japheth's descendants, is mentioned in Genesis 10:2 and later reappears in Ezekiel 38 as the homeland of Gog, the leader of a coalition of nations that will come against Israel in the last days. While interpretations vary, many scholars link Magog to regions north of Israel, potentially covering parts of Turkey, Russia, and Central Asia. Thus, Turkey's place in biblical prophecy can be traced back to Noah's descendants and the nations they founded. The historical and geographical references to Gomer, Togarmah, and Magog tie Turkey directly to end-times events prophesied in the Bible. The land of Turkey, known in ancient times as Anatolia, was home to some of the most powerful civilizations mentioned in the Bible, whose rise and fall significantly shaped the ancient world. The Hittites, mentioned numerous times in the Old Testament, were among the most prominent inhabitants of Anatolia. As a powerful empire, the Hittites extended their influence over much of the Middle East and interacted closely with Israel. In the Bible, we read that Abraham purchased the cave of Machpelah from Ephron the Hittite, Genesis 23:10 through 16. This cave became the burial site of Abraham, Sarah, and the patriarchs, making the Hittites integral to the foundation of the Israelite nation. Additionally, Uriah the Hittite, a key figure in King David's army and husband of Bathsheba, adds another layer to the Hittites' presence in biblical narratives, 2 Samuel 11. In a broader sense, the Hittite Empire was involved in major conflicts with Egypt and Assyria, playing a significant role in the ancient power dynamics of the biblical world. The empire's eventual collapse around 1200 BC paved the way for the rise of smaller kingdoms like Phrygia and Lydia, which also have biblical connections. After the fall of the Hittites, the Phrygians became a dominant power in Anatolia. Phrygia, located in modern-day central Turkey, holds importance in the New Testament, as Paul journeyed through this region during his missionary travels, Acts 16:6. The Phrygians were known for their unique culture, and their kingdom was later absorbed into the Greek and Roman worlds, creating a melting pot of spiritual and cultural exchange. According to Greek mythology, King Midas, who famously turned everything he touched into gold, was a Phrygian ruler. Although this story is mythological, the Phrygians were real people who played a significant role in shaping the history of Asia Minor and the surrounding regions. The Lydians, another ancient civilization in Turkey, are mentioned in the Bible through Lydia of Thyatira, the first convert to Christianity in Europe. Her conversion, as described in Acts 16:14, is a testament to the early Christian influence that spread throughout Anatolia. Lydia was a dealer in purple cloth, a prestigious and expensive material, indicating her wealth and status. This connection highlights how the land of Turkey was central to the spread of Christianity. Following the collapse of the Hittite Empire and the rise of local kingdoms like Phrygia and Lydia, Anatolia became part of the mighty Persian Empire, which played a pivotal role in biblical history. Persia, under Cyrus the Great, conquered Anatolia in the 6th century BC, and this was the start of an era that would profoundly affect Israel. Cyrus, prophesied in Isaiah 45:1, is celebrated in the Bible as the leader who allowed the Jews to return from exile and rebuild the temple in Jerusalem after the Babylonian captivity. The territory of Turkey, or Anatolia under Persian control, was a significant hub of commerce and military campaigns. During this time, Israel's fate was tied to the Persian Empire, and the Jews living in Anatolia benefited from Persia's more tolerant religious policies. The Book of Esther also ties into this era, as Esther and Mordecai's roles in saving the Jews from annihilation happened during Persian rule. Could Turkey's ancient ties to the Persian Empire have significance in the future? The land that once saw the liberation of the Jews now sits in a strategic position for the unfolding of end-times prophecies, where Persia, Iran, re-emerges as a central player, potentially alongside Turkey. When Alexander the Great conquered Anatolia in 334 BC, he ushered in a new era of Greek culture and Hellenistic influence. Daniel 8:21 prophesies Alexander's conquests, describing the king of Greece who would swiftly conquer the Medo-Persian Empire. Anatolia became a crucial battleground during these wars, and Hellenistic culture continued to shape the region long after Alexander's death. The influence of Greek philosophy and religious thought began to take root, which would later intersect with the arrival of Christianity. Turkey, particularly the city of Ephesus, played a key role in the growth of early Christianity. Paul's letters to the Ephesians, Ephesians 1:1, were written to a community heavily influenced by both Greek thought and the Roman Empire, setting the stage for one of the most significant intersections between theology and culture. Anatolia, under Roman and later Byzantine rule, became one of the most important regions in early Christianity. The shift from paganism to Christianity during the Byzantine era cemented Turkey's place in the development of the Christian Church. As we mentioned earlier, Apostle Paul, born in Tarsus, a city in southern Turkey, spent much of his ministry spreading the gospel throughout Anatolia. His letters to the churches in Galatia and Ephesus are prime examples of Turkey's Christian heritage. The city of Ephesus is particularly notable as it was home to one of the largest Christian communities in the 1st century. Ephesus was also where the Apostle John is believed to have spent his final years. The Book of Revelation mentions the 7 churches of Asia, all of which were located in modern-day Turkey, Revelation 1:11. These churches, Ephesus, Smyrna, Pergamum, Thyatira, Sardis, Philadelphia, and Laodicea, became central to the spread of Christianity. In 330 AD, Constantine the Great established Constantinople as the new capital of the Eastern Roman Empire, marking the beginning of the Byzantine Empire. Under Constantine, Christianity became the dominant religion, and Constantinople, modern-day Istanbul, emerged as the spiritual heart of the Eastern Orthodox Church. The Council of Nicaea, which formulated the Nicene Creed in 325 AD, took place in the region of Nicaea, modern-day Iznik, Turkey. This creed remains a cornerstone of Christian belief, shaping theology across denominations to this day. However, the region's spiritual influence began to wane with the rise of Islam. By the 7th century, Islamic conquests began to sweep through Anatolia, culminating in the eventual fall of Constantinople in 1453 to the Ottoman Turks, marking the end of the Byzantine Empire. As we look to the future, Turkey's role in biblical prophecy becomes even more significant. The war of Gog and Magog, described in Ezekiel 38-39 and Revelation 20, positions Turkey as a potential key player in the end times. In Ezekiel's prophecy, Gog is depicted as a leader from the land of Magog, who will lead an invasion against Israel in the last days. Many scholars believe that Magog encompasses parts of modern-day Turkey. Ezekiel 38:6 specifically mentions Gomer and Togarmah, regions historically associated with Anatolia. As we observe the current alliances between Turkey, Russia, and Iran, it's not hard to imagine these nations fulfilling the roles prophesied in Ezekiel. The Gog and Magog war will result in a divine intervention, where God will defeat the invading forces, sparing Israel from destruction. Ezekiel 39:3-6. In Revelation 28, the war of Gog and Magog is mentioned again, this time as part of the final rebellion after the millennial reign of Christ. The fact that this war is mentioned both in Ezekiel and Revelation emphasizes its importance in the end times. Could Turkey's current geopolitical alliances be laying the groundwork for this prophetic conflict? As we watch tensions between Turkey and Israel rise, we may be witnessing the early stages of the Gog and Magog war, a conflict prophesied thousands of years ago. In this deep dive into Turkey's biblical history, we've seen how this nation, from its ancient roots in Anatolia to its potential role in end times prophecy, stands at the crossroads of history and destiny. Will Turkey's modern-day alliances with nations like Russia and Iran fulfill the prophecies of Gog and Magog? Only time will tell, but as we remain vigilant, we are reminded that God's word always comes to pass. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Deep Bible Studies. Let us know in the comments your thoughts on Turkey's role in biblical prophecy.